It's called Astrology for Men because when I was telling my friend Lydia in an Uber about etymology, she said it's astrology for men, and I vibe with that. But we'll start with, like men love to do, explaining things, which is why the etymology fallacy is not necessarily a fallacy, like a logical fallacy. The etymology fallacy is assuming that the etymology of a word or its original meaning has anything to do with its current meaning, and this identification is a logical fallacy. But the reason it's not necessarily is by the principle of continuity. Specifically, if you have two words, or say happy and joyful. Actually, not happy and joyful. We'll take a real example. Happy and lucky. That's one example of etymology. In Proto-Indo-European, where most of these are drawn from, and with the notable exception of Chinese and the Asian languages, includes most of the language groups on Earth, certainly relative to economic power. It includes, well, all of Europe pretty much, India, the Middle East, and Russia, so Eurasia. Oh, and of course the Americas. And then all these sub-languages of it, like say German in English, the words for happy originally just meant lucky. In fact, the word happy, well, the E is just like saying, well, say someone has rapey vibes. Then happy is like literally they have a lot of things go their way, like happenstance, happening, perhaps. And so yeah, saying someone is happy etymologically is just saying that they are lucky. The only exception to this, I think, is in Old Welsh, where the word for happy originally meant wise. So maybe if you're wise, you can make your own luck. This is the part that starts getting into astrology, because it's like horoscopes. One of my favorite etymologies is the word ruler. Every sense of that word actually has the same etymology. So like saying a ruler is a measure of a man is actually very literal. Like a ruler that you use to measure things, a ruler that rules over you, a ruling in a court, a rule as in something you have to follow, and a rule, like also a ruler, all have the same etymology for this Proto-Indo-European word rig, RG, which means to put something in a line. Here's some examples.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Do you mind if I put it up there?
Yeah, thank you for doing that. This is
Mine.
his.
Yeah, you can go for it.
I can hold it.
Here are some of the
Thanks
words that
yeah.
come from the word reg.
I appreciate it.
Come closer and check this out.
Can you repeat what you just said?
Just look here, this is the idea. All of these have the same root, and you should be able to see it from scanning like 10 of them. Come close.
These all have the same root?
Root, like here, ruler. Well, for one, notice how many of them start with the letter R. Like way more than coincidence would predict. Even Henry. Such a... Okay, like Rex. Like Tyrannosaurus Rex, king tyrant. Rex just means king. Rex comes from reg. Regent, regicide, regal, all of those come from it very directly. But also the sense of rule, ruler, measurement. So if you want to rule others, you can start by measuring yourself accurately. Oh, and also in the old days, the foot was apparently assigned by the measure of the king's foot, which is really stupid. I mean, using one king's foot would have been fine, but changing it is really stupid.
Is there any other like root that has like a lot of?
Oh, we're not even close to the best one.
Okay.
Somewhat surprisingly for me, the next one, which is math, I didn't look up etymology of this until like 9 months of being into etymology. When everyone assumed it'd be the first word I would have looked up, but not even close. Actually, the first word I looked up is etymology itself, and the etymology of etymology. The ology is like logos, or which means symbol, the study of, which comes from leg, like lex, lexical, which means to pick out or to collect, like picking out words and letters. And the eti comes from the word etios, which is the word for true, which has the original sense meaning to set. I like to think of it as setting an axiom system, personally. Alright, doing some tracing in the phonetics.
It's important to have your question clear in your head before
Why am I know what this says, why am I just looking at it?
where's a place in your life where you would like to feel
Mathematics comes from a Greek word mathema, which originally just meant that which is learned or a lesson. The Pythagoreans called themselves mathema, which just meant learner. But even in ancient Greek times, it came to mean like mathematics, like people recognize it now. But its origin is from a Proto-Indo-European word mend, which means to learn. And here, take a look at this one. This is interesting. It's the shitty connection. There. In particular, the evidence for its origin through different languages. Because the thing about Proto-Indo-European is that there is no written record of it, but people are very confident it existed through statistical reconstruction of existing languages. Even without the aid of computers, people were very confident of this. Computers have just made it way more so. Some of these senses of the word, including of the word mend itself, also has the sense of like noticing and liveliness. And my favorite one is Lithuanian mundras, wide awake.
Sorry for
Yeah?
so like questioning, but like
Yeah.
how like can you like go into more like how they inferred it?
No, look it up on YouTube.
Okay.
What was your question?
I guess like how they inferred Indo-European. How's Indo-European inferred?
For real, go on YouTube. They have a good explanation.
Okay.
Okay. Here's an anecdote. The etymology of the word anecdote. The A is just like not, like anorexia. The neck is really X, which means out. And the dote is like dore, which like give, like donne in French. An anecdote actually had almost the opposite meaning originally, which is something that is not given out, a secret story. But then when I think Emperor of Byzantium, Justinian I, some of his court gossip was published, and those were all anecdotes in the original sense, and that's how it took on the sense of just sort of a kind of amusing story.
I feel like we should still have a word for the original meaning.
For the what? Oh, for anecdotes?
Yeah. Like that's
I
something
thought-
that lost.
Construct one, then send it forth. Okay, here's the ultimate word for just like schizo-association. Check this shit out. Ved, which is the Proto-Indo-European root that means to see. I'll just read out the list of words that come from it. Advice, advise, clairvoyant, deja vu, druid, eidetic, envy, evident, guide, also evidence for that matter, guidon, guise, a guy rope, Gwendolyn, Hades, history, idea, ideal, ideo, like ideology, idol, idyll, like idyllic, like a nice childhood, improvise, improvisation, interview, kaleidoscope, Oid, I don't even know Oid myself, penguin, prevision, anything with like the word vis in it, like vista, view, vision, providence, provide, prudent, purvey, purview, review, anything with the word view in it. Rig Veda. Rig Veda literally means Rig just means to shine, so it's like shining knowledge, shining sight, something like that. Story, supervise, survey, twit, wit, unwitting, inwit, outwit, midwit. It's not on there, but it should be. Veda, Vib, Visa, Visit, Visitor, Voyeur, Wise. Okay, that's all of them. Which is a lot, as you might have noticed. And they have, even within the meta themes, like there's a theme of some sort of advisory role in job-wise, considering words like guys, advisor, advice, wittenagimo. This is a word I've read so many times it never said out loud. It was the Old English Council that helped elect the king before William the Conqueror.
Witten?
Yeah, but they have more to the name. The Wittenagemot.
I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I don't know.
The challengers step in the ring to pronounce this word.
Wittenagemot?
Bottom
With
right.
Nagamot? Wicanagamot?
See?
I feel like
so easy.
I feel like one of the middle syllables.
I don't know
is
Old English well enough.
Sounds almost German. Or like Dutch.
Well, probably because it is German.
Oh.
Because it comes from Older English, which is based on German. So yeah, sight is pretty important to people and forms a hell of a lot of words. Even words just like history, any sort of interpretive thing, the word idea itself, and like idea like childhood, I looked that one up, is literally because your childhood is like, you have a nice idea of it because it was idyllic. Another one that has a lot is the word per, which means forward or in front of, but has come to have many, many senses. Like it also, like the word pre, princeps, prince, many sort of leaders, the whole idea of leading from the front.
That's so.
There's nothing else that tells you a lot about Proto-Indo-European society. I think so, yeah.
What, prefect? Yeah. One who comes before, basically. Yeah.
Oh, great etymology. Can versus may. Like, can you get the glass versus may you? People like to be whole grammar pedants about it, but etymologically, the word can is from the Proto-Indo-European word know, GNO, which is, it does mean to know something. It's the origin of the word knowing, knowledge, gnosis, agnostic. Anything with a GNO in it. Can.
Gnomes.
I don't know, very possibly. As a general rule with etymologies, you should just assume like the dumbest thing that's most of the time actually right. So it really rewards wild schizo-imaginings. Like I've just straight up like guessed etymologies for words through wild imaginings and they were all right.
Yeah, it's fun to do that.
Jesus, this one has a lot too. Power for forward. I'm not going to read all of them, but run the camera on it for a sec. Jesus Christ. Whoa. There's like 100 words in there. Maybe even more than for to see, actually.
Right.
The word may, like you may do something, the etymology of that is mag, which means to have power. Or to actually like do the thing, not just to be able to do a thing. This is also like a distinction between should and, or could rather, and will. Another word, like the words master, magister, magistrate, all of those have the same origin, too, as may. Oh, a relevant one for Vibecamp. The word like agent, agentic, which just yesterday I heard at least like 8 times. It comes from a Proto-Indo-European word ag, which means to move or to draw out. Same like actor. I had meant to look this up, but I didn't check. I'm gonna look it up right now because maybe you're drawing a cloud.
Yeah.
see if this works. No, it's different. It's from agro, which means a field, which is not the origin of aggressive.
What? You said agro for field.
agro. That just means a field.
Is aggressive?
No.
Okay.
That was the next thing I said, that it's not.
Okay.
Although this term would be horribly confused, I think actor would be a better term than agent because one, it's correct. Two, it's English. And three, I can say it to a random guy. Because if someone says an agent, the guy's like what, like a secret agent? Oh, famous and fame. The etymology of that is ba, which means to speak. Sometimes kind of empty speaking. All the question words have the same etymology. Like who, what, where, when, why, how, either, neither.
Interrogate?
Yeah. They all come from the word quo, which is honestly just like a question mark or a shrug, really. Just a generic question, which then develops into more senses.
How did the WH enter?
The what?
How did the WH enter?
The words change a bit over time, so they drift. So you have to like open your mind and really see the connection. Oh, simple and complex. Saying something is simple etymologically, saying that it's one ply or one fold. The plex, plate, ply means all to braid together. Complex, like complicated. Yeah, complicated and complex etymologically are the same word. Simplicate is not a word, but it would follow the same pattern. And com just means together or with, like the word concept. The con is with, and the sept is to grasp something in your hand, which is a nice way to think of a concept. Like there's this stream of stuff, and you just sort of pluck out one and try to freeze it and give it a name.
It's like a scepter.
Yeah, it's like oh, the word value. Its etymology is from like valor, which means strong. And now I'm thinking of that Britney Spears song "Work Bitch." It's just looping in my head. Oh, understand. The etymology of it might not actually be to stand underneath something, but actually interstand, to stand like between or within, which would make more sense. And also it's a more evocative way of how to understand something from all sides. Consider. Con. In this case, I think it's just an intensifier, so like, do the thing more. Siddhar is from sidereal, or if you know Hindi, sitar for star, or star itself. So it's literally to look at the stars and spend some time at that, hence consider them. Also, Proto-Indo-European is a very elitist language. The etymology of the word aristocrat and aristos just means best. And I think the R by itself is a Proto-Indo-European word that just means like fitted to something, like a carpenter would fit things. Like the word art itself has the same origin. Joining, fitting. And the original concept of aristocrats in Athens was that they were supposed to be the best and that they were elected. The word elite and elect all have the same etymology, picked out by citizens. Or picked out, rather, from leg. That concept drifted pretty fast, and the original aristocracy was not supposed to be hereditary, but they made it hereditary real quick. So that stick. Also, the word noble literally means someone knows more etymologically, because it has the same origin as both knowledge, know, can. The words discernment and skill have the same etymology. They all have the sense of picking something out. The dis is like to separate, like distaff, distal, far away, and The cern is like from a word cray, which means to sieve out. And so skill is that same word. Like saying someone is skilled is that they're sort of good at picking things out. And then the sense of discernment evolves more. The word discreet. Actually, people confuse the two senses of the word discreet, like separate and not out in the open. But they have the same etymology as well, which is the same as discern. And to round that one off, the etymology of the word continuous, well, con is with. The tinu is like tenuous. It means that they hang together, which is a very nice way of thinking about continuity. Mathematically pretty accurate.
Where does continuous come from?
Any guesses?
For what?
Continuous versus continuous.
Contiguous. Guess an etymology.
I'm gonna go with the same.
I assume it's the same.
Trying
To get
It's not.
I assume it's a fairly recent generation.
like tenuation. So I almost want to say like maybe like tendon or
Tendon does have the same etymology. The ten just means to stretch. It's more basic. It's a Proto-Indo-European root by itself. Like tension, tenuous, etc. I think tendency as well. Like you stick to it. No. It has the same etymology as contact. The con is the with, but tact is like also the same word tangent, tangier, which just means to touch. From Proto-Indo-European tag, which means to touch, like tactile.
So they're not.
with
That
touch,
might be
I
that
guess.
too.
Yeah. Oh, that's another one. Tactile. Also the word tactics.
Tactic, yeah.
Strategic actually has the same etymology as stratosphere because strategos was the Greek term for general, and so strategy. This was the only way I've ever remembered the difference between tactics and strategy, which is which. At first, I thought they were just kind of interchangeable for most of my life. Strategy is the high-level one because of like stratosphere, generals, and tactics because hands.
The hands of
The common man beating
touch,
another one
yeah.
in the dirt.
I guess it's called like stratified.
Yeah.
It's got like levels.
I think strat just is like upper atmosphere. Oh, I also remembered epimorphism because epi itself is the Proto-Indo-European word just meaning like over or covering something. So that one is easy. Okay, the stratus is from Proto-Indo-European word stire, which means to spread. I think the word spread also has the same. Which stuff in the stratosphere certainly does spread out. In later use, often short for stratosphere because of high altitudes. Alright, that's all the animal quizzes. Thank you for coming to